Hello everyone and welcome back to another Black Clover mobile video. So today we have a hype video. So we have the leaks for the upcoming banner characters and leaks for the season 2 characters, and take this with a grain of salt. These are only leaks, so don't take this as a confirmation for the next characters, but this is actually a pretty high chance that these are actually the upcoming characters. So before we start, we have actually the I think the summoning animations or the intro or some animations for the characters. So we have first here is Patri or Licht. He looks very cool. And we have also the animations for Fana. Let's take a look at this. Also looks very cool, and we have also some animations for Raya. So let's take a look. So I'm not gonna lie, all their animations looks very hype. And let's take a look at their kits, and this, by the way, I think will not be the same as the release, but we can take an idea on how these characters will work in the game. So let's start with Fana. Her skill number 1 is a single target or single damaging ability, and has a chance of inflicting burn, very basic. Her skill number 2 is the Salamander, and it's an AoE to all enemies, and if even one enemy has a burn, apply Vampire to yourself before attacking. So if the enemies have burn debuff on them, she will gain the lifesteal, or lifesteal. She will heal when she attacks. Her ultimate is Salamander, or the breath of the Salamander, dealing damage to all enemies, so it's an AoE, and she applies a attack power increase buff effect to self for X turns. So she basically just buffs herself and she do more damage. Her passive is increases damage when health is above a certain percentage, very basic. And her awakening is increases damage amount. So as you can see, Fana here is damage dealer with some burn effects, so she can work very nice with Fugolion and some other burn characters. So, and by the way, take this with a grain of salt. These might not be the final kits for these characters. So now let's go for Raya. Raya, his first skill is Imitation Dark Magic Continuous Slash. It's an AoE actually, so his first skill is an AoE, same as Radiami. If you have a buffing effect, you do an extra attack. So if you have a buff on you, you will do an extra attack. That's very nice. His skill number 2 is Imitation Dark Magic Gale Slash, and I think this is a single target damaging ability, and copies the enemy's buff. That's awesome, because as you know, Raya's magic is copy magic. So with his skill number 2, you can copy the enemy's buffs. That's very awesome. His ultimate is an AoE that deals damage to all enemies, and it gives you an extra attack if you have 2 or more buffs. That's awesome. An extra attack on an ultimate. That's interesting. And the attack after applying X damage increase buff effects for each buff granted to you, and basically he does more damage the more buffs he have on himself. His passive is recover X% of maximum HP when the buff effect on you ends, 1 time per wave. Oh, so that's awesome. So when the buffs on you on him ends, he gets some HP. That's very cool. And his awakening passive, attack power increase by X% when the buff effects on you ends, and it stacks. So he looks very powerful. We don't know if he will be the same when he releases, but here for the leaks, I mean, he looks very powerful. So let's go to Licht. So his skill number 1, Sword of Light of Condemnation. It's a dealing damage to a single enemy. and attack after applying a critical rate increase buff to self. So he increases his crit rate and then attacks the enemy. Very cool. His skill number 2 is Judgment Light Whip. It's also a single enemy damage ability. He attacks after applying critical rate increase buff to self and attack after applying a defense penetration buff to self. So Licht looks like he's all about critical rate increase. He's also looks like a damage dealer. And he looks very solid. His skill number 2 give him the defense penetration. I think this one is better than defense lower, but I don't know. So let's go for his ultimate. Ray of Light devours enemies with a huge light, dealing damage to all enemies. So it's an AoE ultimate. After attack after applying crit rate increase buff to self. So as we can see, critical damage to Licht is not going to be a problem. He increases his crit rate in every ability. So his passive increases the speed. Oh, increases speed is crazy. And his awakening passive increases the critical damage. I mean, that works very nice with him because he will be critting a lot. So overall, Licht looks very solid also. And we have also Veto Seasonal. I don't know about this one. It says here the leaks it's seasonal, but there are also the leaks for the season 2 characters. But let's take a look at what Veto can do. So his skill number 1, Destructive Blow, inflicts damage on enemies by swinging arms strength by demon magic. So I think this is an AoE because it says enemies right here. Attack after applying up to increase damage increase, strengthening effects in proportion to your lost HP. So this is basically he deals more damage the more or the lower HP he is. Very awesome. His skill number 2 is Play, recovers with great regenerative power, applies body enhancement buffed effect to self for X turn, applies recovery effect to yourself by X% of maximum HP. Wow, this skill do a lot. So his skill number 2 is not an attack, he just buffs himself and he will start regenerating and enhancing his body some. Very cool. His ultimate is Despair, releases an overwhelming amount of mana, dealing damage to all enemies, so it's an AoE, and X% chance to apply enhanced taunt effect to enemy for X turn. So I think enhanced taunt is a new thing. I don't think we have it in the game right now. I don't know, we will see how this will work. His passive is if his HP is less than X%, gains immortality effect for X turns once per battle. That's crazy. So he is the first character with immortality. His awakening passive is damage reduction when attacked by X% for each debuff applied to you. So the more debuffs on him, he will take or tank a lot of more hits. I mean, he looks very interesting. He looks like a very damage dealing tank, and the mortality is crazy. So now let's take a look at the season 2 characters. The leak says it's Yuno, Gauche, and Charlotte. So let's take a look at Yami or Yuno season 2. His skill number 1, Sleep Raid. Throw blades of wind that travels along the ground, dealing damage to a single enemy. So we don't know what the skills will do, but I mean, we just know if it's an AoE or a single target. And I think this is not the same as the Yuno from the closed beta. I think this is like the summer Yuno. We don't know yet, but yeah. His skill number 2 is Water Spout. Creates a water whirlpool to an enemy, dealing damage to all to an enemy camp, dealing damage to all enemies, so it's an AoE. His ultimate is an AoE, Watermelon Cutting. That's a funny name. So we don't know his skills, what will they do, so we just have to wait until the final release or more leaks. Let's go to the Gauche season 2. Also he have a single Mirror Sun. He have a single damaging ability on his skill number 1. His skill number 2 is a buffing ability. Yeah, he buffs an ally. And his ultimate is also a buffing ability to all allies, so he could be maybe a cracked support, we don't know yet. Let's take a look at Charlotte season 2. His skill number 1, and I hope she's good, by the way, because the SSR version is meh. So her skill number 1 is slams the whip of thorny vines hard, dealing damage to a single enemy. That's funny. Her skill number 2 is blow smash, deal damage to an enemy with a strong smash beach ball. So I think she is I think this is a single target also damaging ability. Her ultimate, where is this body, swings a whip of thorns several times, inflicting damage to all enemies, and her passive and awakening are also unknown. So this is it for the leaks. What's this? Oh, so these Niche and Baru and I think Theresia aren't these characters I think the characters in the chapter 4, like the guy with the white hair or something. Oh, passive, none, his R. So these characters are our characters, so I will not go through them. At least I will wait until the final release. But yeah, I mean, this is it for today's video. A lot of cool leaks, a lot of cool characters leaked. So I think we should expect these 3 characters are the next banner, maybe. I mean, it looks like it, but we don't know yet. And the next seasonal characters should be Yuno, Gauche, and Charlotte. So if you didn't build your Gauche or Charlotte or Yuno, you should be very, very excited. Or even if you build them, I think these characters could be a very, very good extra addition for your account. So this is it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like, and I will catch you in the next one.